Good evening, all. Welcome, all, and welcome to Friday night live for a little teachings and meditation and Juniper teachings and meditation. Good evening. I really want to share a few thoughts from today and say happy Sakadawa to all of you. According to the Tibetan calendar, the Sakadawa is a day marks the enlightenment of the Buddha at Bodh Gaya, Buddha Shakyamuni, and the anniversary of the Buddha's parinirvana, which means the passing, in a forest grove in Kushinagara. That makes me have a lot of feelings and upon that, and which I want to share with you a little bit about that. We are in a very, very turmoil in society, into the world itself. So many stress, so many confusion into that. And today, as a reflection, because a lot of feelings came by yesterday, which this morning, excuse me, today evening, India, this morning over here, I received a phone call from the monastery. And one of the things offering the greetings of the Sagadawa, but saying, please, Rinpoche, be healthy, long life, because all the old teachers in the monastery gone just 2 weeks ago. 2 elders I know died. And so who called was the major attendant of Lam Rim, the former Lam Rim, which is now the major educator, teacher for the youngest reincarnation of Lam Rim. At the same time, seeing Lama Ganchen here, which passed my last live teachings, and I'm kind of feel alone into this process, So I'm elder now. Before was young, pay attention to my teachers. Now no longer into that. I used to celebrate Sakadawa. We have 3 Buddhas, one to my right, to the left, on the top there, behind me. And then Buddha is just a nickname, the one which is awakened, So, and that's where the Buddha, the Buddhism means, is to be awakening, and the one which really go into that inner journey, inner journey, in order to unleash his potential. But then, when I said his potential, I said, no, this is not my private potential. It is the potential all sentient beings has. Everybody has that potential, but we need to go into that training, into that development in order to gain that kind of, understanding and clarity. Otherwise, we are not able to do that. So the root of that philosophy is how we are engaged into that journey in order to unleash that potential we have. What we witnessing right now in America is exactly the opposite. Anger, fear, hatred, and then the eulogy, all of you is aware of it. People say, yes, black, black lives matters. It's not just human beings' life matters in such a way, but why the black? Because the black has been survived with a neck, a knee on the neck all the time. So we change the way to do, but we treat the same. And that make me into these double feelings today because I'm a human. Grieving the masters, which I, not grieving, remember the masters and which I adore, had adored. It's part of my training, it's part of who I am, understanding. But at the same time, to see how hard is that wisdom of that master Shakyamuni brought for us to undergoing into that inner journey. Be able to bring that into that level of awareness, the level of clarity, to have peace, harmony, tranquility in this world. And then I feel me. I get elder. I am an elder. So I used to go to the monastery, pay homage to my teachers. I was young. Now my teacher is 7 years old. The one came back. And then I have on my shoulder how I continue that view of Shakyamuni, the Prince Siddhartha Gautama, for 2,700 years ago. In a mix of important, utopia, impossible, mission impossible. Because the society exploded. The time I born up to now, yes, we have wonders in engineer discovering, but we still have the knee in our neck. The world is stressful. The world in panic. lost. And where is that potential which that the Master said for us? By the way, not many, I'll say many, but not as many which should be in relation to that explosion of humanity. There is smaller and smaller the population which carry on that kind of a view, that kind of perception. Well, in respect, admiration, in process of really thanks what I received from my teachers, which are the carry on of the vision of the Siddhartha Gautama, Buddha Shakyamuni. I continue the journey. I continue my inner journey. And I continue into this process of, it is the inner journey. So Buddha is awakening, and I need to become awakening. I have to awaken my mind. That is the serious of that practices, what I try to convey, what I try to bring, and for I don't know who was there. Some I can identify, others I don't. Very happy to have. But what I'm talking here, I'm talking in space. I envision, even though I look at here, but I also look to the past. How beautiful is if all sentient beings who live in that state of bliss, joy, happiness. But we need to cultivate something to become into that. That's my thinking for today, Sakadawa. My feelings for today. I have been very reflective. How much I can do. I can say. Because if you listen, I don't have time. Just a vague words. Unfortunately, I'm not a comic. And I don't my dear main anything, my broken English, broke Portuguese. Sometimes my mind, I don't know where I am, dysfunctional, perhaps. But how into that little words will be able to make sense for us, me, us, going into that inner journey to awaken our mind and hopefully will become fully awakened. In order to do that, one, we need to pay attention to the world, to understanding how a perception is. There are the ordinary perception phenomena, cognition can see, hear, but it's still some of those will disturb us, bring afflictions and emotions and so forth. And then there are others who cannot even see, but then there are that cognition for different, yeah, science say, so forth, I can do it into that. But the tool for that is meditation. And I need to really to pay attention meditation in order to have the mind, to bring the concentration. Through that concentration, I'll have more serenity in my mind, more tranquility, and then I will have the strength to focus the mind into the object, and then with that focus, can I refute or should I accept? I should refute or should I accept? How I could go more in analysis into that object. And that's the reason I needed the um, concentration meditation. Yeah. Now, for that end, let's do our starting analysis, concentration meditation for a little while. I want to set my timing here for you guys to do it, and then we go and do my analytical, our concentration meditation for us to start. Take one deep breath. All of you know the drill and how to put yourself into that. And then let's start our concentration meditation. Take one deep breath and bring yourself back. Then last week we talking about Buddhism per se. It's not a religion, it's a philosophy. And the main goal for that is to awaken the mind. So, and that's this week we're only talking about awakening. So, what does this mean about that? The premises of the Buddhism training is that because the quality of our experience is determined by the mind, by training the mind, we can change the quality of our experiences. So, doesn't matter, what kind of people we are. Imagine one fisherman in a village there. Go, have a fish, eat, sleep, and they're happy. Know what's going on in nature, and so forth and so on. And a lot of people has unbelievable wealth, stressful, tight, cannot. Why? Because by knowing its nature, dealing with that, have different inner perspective. Consequently, we react differently to the environment we are in. So, doesn't matter. It's not because poor is happy, rich is not. It's not that. Is sometimes the capacity to pay attention to that nature, to pay attention our inner pattern of behavior. Perhaps poor people have little, and then why worry? I'm just here patient to get my fish, enjoy the environment. So when you have that capacity to understanding that, then that will have a great effect in our experiences. But we need to understanding that inner pattern and inner story we have. So when we engage into that training, we go into a process of inner development. It's not a state which will come like it is. So that training is how we become aware moment to moment to that process. And then again, this is a pattern I should refute. This is the one I should cultivate, empower, embrace it. And then as I do that, into that process, I keep going into that. Now, let's examine a little bit the philosophy. Buddhism is a philosophy. Lama Tsongkhapa, one great master of the school, the thoughts I belong to, the Buddhism, the Tibetan Buddhism, wrote the great great Lam Rim, which is the great state of the path. So the gradual state to attain that state of awakening. But it's complicated, difficult, because it was based upon the science at the time, situation at the time. But even though the key points of the training is correct, but we get lost into the words, which, because the words then is not applied today, then we think nothing happened. No, the method is still valid. The process is still valid. We need to exchange some of the meaning of the words to put it more into this context today. And that's where coming Juniper, to bring that for modern life, is not to alter the methodology of that training, but to bring the current philosophical means today. And then can cope with that, learn, and have the inner growth. So, and that's why we pay attention to it. So, Buddhism, when you say, oh, it's a philosophy, but you just do a word, but you don't know. No, Buddhism, it is a philosophy until some point have the word, but it is a process. It is a training. It is a methodology. As I'm going to that, and then becomes the path of transformation. And as a result of that path of transformation, I become awakening. It's a process. It's not a state. So, and then we start to gain clarity moment to moment. So we shape our experiences because into this process of enhanced refuting, but thinking upon, reasoning upon. It's not, oh, I have, you don't have, or you have, I don't have, this person like this. Many times, people, it's very, very interesting. I'm Segyu Rinpoche. Well, it's not because he's not a Tibetan. He's a monk, but he's a fake monk. Don't wear the robe. Oh. In reality, I'm nobody. I'm just me. By the way, I wear clothes because the society, if you awaken naked, people put me in jail. Even though I followed the group school, but my whole item was Milarepa, very naked yogi into that. So, therefore, awakening is a process. It's a process of learning. As I'm learning, become aware. Out of that awareness, and I put myself into that training. Consequently, I grow. And moment to moment, I rejoice into that, refuting those kind of, I don't get it there, I don't get it. No, just patiently continue. You can eliminate some of those language, of the language of exclusion. I'm now, into that state. But we need to bring new ideas. What idea is that? The idea is I can be trained. I can change the quality of my experiences. Therefore, the new idea is how I take a deep inner commitment for me. motivated me to be happy. It's not a state of absolute, but how slowly, someone else told me, baby steps. Yes, baby steps. But constantly and moving to that way. The mind could change. It's not unchangeable. It can change. Maybe you cannot change one mental imprint, one neuron, but you can create a different neural passage for take the potency of those neural passage which is afflicted with, destructive. So the difficult part is, you turn your mind, you become a Buddhist. No, I'm not a Buddhist. We start to debate those words. No, I'm not Buddhist, I'm a Buddhist. It's just a word. But if you're really understanding the word, say, well, Buddha means awakening, and it is a process to become awake. Yes, I am. I am engaged into this path to become awakening. I am engaged into this, into this training to bring my potential more potent in what? In serenity, in clarity, in calmness, in sight. This path, as you continue, become more stable. The path is stability. And then you go slowly and gain more clarity into that. The more motivation we have, the better we become. Again, the training is not a path of isolation or they are away from the society, not whatsoever. But now today we are into a not personal retreat, but government retreat. Boom! Because the crisis. The pandemic things. So make sure, pay attention. If we are in that state and take that advance to inner reflection, we'll have unbelievable benefits from it. We gain unbelievable, good results from that. Right? But we have to understand, but when you stay home, I'm miserable, I cannot go, or my whatever, but then I have a list, the things, no relevant whatsoever. No help us to resolve anything, except to create more stability, mental stability. And then we don't understand, yes, the whole world are in retreat. But if I pay attention to it, believe me, if I can use those words, it's a gift from God. Change the whole. But it is a deep gift to click the mind and understanding that process to unfold the potential of our mind for clarity, calm, and insight. It's beautiful. And that's the part of awakening. It is a process. We need to pay attention We need to pay attention how we act and react. We need to be aware. Okay, we should stop to complain our life, but understanding how we live and the quality of our livelihood, not sustainability per se, but the way we live is due to that pattern we have, the emotional pattern, our personal version of reality, the way we consider things. So, awakening the mind is equal like a training the mind. And training the mind is a process. Now, how we go about to understanding that? If I place a question like, what to do? What do you understand? Understand awakening to means. What is that? Cannot be awakening one part, not the other. What is that? How I move through it. Through analytical meditation. And that's the two pairs must coming together to become one. In a concentration meditation, we do have the object of the concentration. Only things we need is to concentrate that object. And the best object for us right now is the breathing. Inhaling, exhaling. Mind's wandering, bring the mind back. Mind's wandering, bring the mind back. Then, how to understand my inner pattern in a story? I need to do analytical meditation. Which means is I need to reasoning. I need to reflect into that. And then I need topics which make clarity to understanding how to perceive those events. And that lead me to improve our knowledge and growth, what that particular word means. Example, I am burnout. Why? So we have a tendency to say burnout all externally, but you don't know we are burnout because the structure we have inside. We can say, whoa, I work hard, I'm tired. Okay, but doesn't mean I'm burnout emotionally. So we tie it all together because we don't know how to separate the emotions to physical conditions. Evidently, the emotion also affected the physical conditions. And that's why the analytical meditation, it is important to do it. And that topic is the language of transformation. So, I mentioned to you guys last time 2 books. One is The Pig Wants to Be Eaten, and the other one I don't have with me here is Do You Think What You Think? Do You Think What You Think You're Thinking? And let's see if we can, in Portuguese, I have in here. Oh, I do have it here. One moment. Do you think what you think you think? Here. Huh? So, there are many philosophical systems in the world. But you can have idea, but one point into that, those two books created by that philosopher, is for us to examine how indeed, how contradicting we are, how much contradiction we have inside. And that's very aligned with the Buddhism thoughts, which means I like, they're attached. I want, I don't like, I got aversion, angry. And sometimes ignored because don't know what is. But when you have clarity by examine and have the mind strong enough to not engage into the emotion, but stop there and to analyzing, to reflect upon, and then be able to refute. So the concentration meditation, we do have the object is to bring the mind focus. Mind is the one to bring the mind back. In analytical meditation, you don't have the object yet, because the object has been established. It's the last part of the steps to establish that object of meditation. I need to be familiar with the topic. So it means I need to read, I need to study, I need to discuss of that, and then engage into the reasoning, reflection, science, logic, testimonial, experience, etc., etc., etc. Pay attention. Avoid fake news. So I mentioned the philosophy here. There are so many good thoughts in the philosophy, but most of the philosophical system doesn't have the training process, the methodology of the training. How to train in the mind into that. For enhance the quality of our experiences. That's where the analytical meditation is about. And then when you have that analytical meditation, keep it going, and those two phases, the familiarity and reason, then how I could apply that in my life. How I will apply that in my life. And then examine those three things into one setting of meditation. Then, into that process, for that specific topic, coming any thoughts, any insights, and that will be my object of concentration for that session. And then I concentrate in that. When I stand up from the analytical meditation, go to the world. In the world, actions and reactions is alive. Then if I did my meditation, I start to perceive that, how I react, how the news coming, how I react, how I am alive. And that brings more clarity. So, and then that previous object of meditation, that object of the concentration through the analytical meditation kicking in, say, oops, I should not do that. I should act differently. So then when we perceive that sometimes the event has been passed, but the continuity of that, I'll be able to catch myself, not just after, but during and even before. And then as continue, I'll be able to change myself and become strong into that. The good about here, I'm in a distance, we meditate out there, but that's very important to have a community. As you can see all together. So I'm talking for people. And then out there, so many will go into the Juniper studio, the Juniper YouTube live, and then will listen to my voice. But yeah, how I meditate, not to meditate. So then I'm called, please go be in touch with Juniper Foundation website, yeah, and looking. I mean, evidently should be more at big say go to your local center. We don't have yet, but at least you have some group, participating to that, and then to have a little more group discussion. The group discussion is not to prove anything; it's for you to analyze in yourself. That the debate is to generate new ideas, to have clarity to yourself, and then be able to bring that in a much more broad situation for your own growth, for your own journey, for into the process of training your mind and become, I mean, free from worries. And yes, enjoy your life. Enjoy every single moment in your life. I'm here. I do my best to bring to you guys those thoughts for those great masters. I love my teacher, have tremendous respect because those are the fabric who I am into this process of reflecting and work on it. And that's what motivates myself to continue to go because I am in my own process. Why? Never ends until one day I stop to breathe. Because every single moment I have, because inner pattern is still there, always have been there. If I'm not being aware, it's easy to fall back. But how I can put the stop working uh, for other way of being, joyful, happiness. We can't get it. But it is a training. It is a process. I hope little by little into the series of awakening the mind. Next week, we're going to talk about consciousness. How we'll be able to enhance that to put in our lives. Listen, we always will have a toothache. Unless we be myself old and take all the program. I still have something. My mouth doesn't work much. My throat is a little all crampy. My voice is, into that. But how I can be happy moment to moment, I still have to walk. I don't know how long, by age and so forth, so I have clarity in my mind. Until then, I'll continue to serve. Hopefully can motivate some of you to get out of your pedestal of pride to be something into that. But be in the top of the mountain of your awakening. Your own potential. The beauty of our mind. So it's wonderful. And that's into this Sakadawa. They say all the activities that they will multiply by billions of times, millions of times. The merits will come in billions of times. And I hope so. I hope all the merits of the Sakadawa today flourish in you. Bring your mind much more clear, full of joy and happiness. Even when you have a little pain, but you understanding this process of growth is still not yet in the same vibration. Have a little disarray there. But when you're pulsing one thing of your mind, we're able to gain this great joy and happiness in us for ourselves and share with others. And hopefully will be a positive force in this world. Remove the knees from my neck and not putting neither my knee in somebody else's neck. Make the world be free, breathe free, express love and care, taking care of each other. Be careful this time, be well, be healthy. I hope we'll be around. Together, we can create the new world, a beautiful world. I wish you again happy and long life. Long and long life. Happy Sakadawa. And until our next Friday night live. Be in peace, be in harmony,